sitting here today. That speech was told by my teammate, brother, and one of my best friends, Jake Snake Miller. Jake had an impact on my life before I came to F&M, as I stayed with him and PJ on our recruiting visit. And he, along with the other members of the F&M team, convinced me that F&M was where I belonged. From the moment I met Jake, he taught me what it meant to be an F&M soccer player. Many of you know Jake and the person he is. While I may not be the best role model or someone you want your son to be, Jake was my role model and the guy I wanted to be upon graduation. I want to tell my parents I did not become Jake Miller. Don't worry. In fact, Jake and I are much different people. However, Jake shaped my future by leading the way and showing me what it meant to be an F&M soccer player. He taught me to worship the time I spent with my teammates, best friends, and brothers. But most importantly, Jake taught me to never be afraid of making a mistake. And that's the message I hope to get across to you all today. When I first stepped on campus 4 years ago, I had no idea what to expect. I was excited to enter this new chapter of my life, but I was also nervous and so focused on making an impact on the field as quickly as I could. That was my first mistake. In order to get the most out of being an F&M soccer player, you need to not become so engrossed on making an impact on the field. Instead, you need to make an impact and create memories off the field with your brothers, family, and the Wagner family. That belief and mindset is what has made this program so successful on the field and has allowed this program to progress at such a rapid pace, especially over these past 3 years. This is in large part due to Wags and his ability to be a true leader and care about each and every one of his players and instill in us the motto of team before self. I must apologize right now to the team because I'm going to take a page out of Wags' playbook and belabor this motto. To me, team before self means putting all the energy and focus into making sure that once you leave the field, the weight room, those lively shower sessions, or those eventful team get-togethers with the loss, you need to be able to say to yourself that you've made your teammates better. And most importantly, this needs to be done before you even start worrying about yourself. Team before self means understanding that individually we're strong, but collectively we can accomplish so much more. Team before self means watching Connor, Finn, and myself go at it for a whole practice and then high-five and joke about what happened last weekend, or just simply talk about that cute girl in class. Team before self is exemplified by an entire bench of players standing and cheering for their brothers on the field for a full 90 minutes, knowing full well they may not even get in the game, but knowing their role and what it means to this team. For me, team before self played a large role throughout my career here. I was never out on the field playing for myself. Instead, I was playing for my brothers and giving all that I had in each and every game, whether that meant playing hurt, which seemed to be about 75% of my career, sorry Mom. Or even leaving the middle of the field, where I'd grown so accustomed to playing for 3 years, and making the switch to wingback for 3 games of my senior season. That brings me to my second mistake. As we all know, there are a few games at the beginning of the season where I was in poor form, and this motto got me through that rough patch. It all started when I missed the PK against Baltimore. I felt like I had let you all down, and really got in my own head. Instead, I started to get in my own head and focus on what I need to do to make up for my mistake and score that goal or get that assist that would get me over the hump. That was a huge mistake, and one that I hope no other F&M player makes after I finish this speech. I remember sitting at the front of the bus on the way back from my worst game of the season at Stevenson and having Wags remind me of this motto, which the team has been built on, that being team before self. Once I left the middle of the field and trusted my brothers to do the job that I had done 3 years prior, I got over the hill and the team started playing the type of soccer we've all grown accustomed to seeing. That is why this motto means so much to this team and myself. Team before self means putting aside any personal ambitions or goals you have in order to make sure your contributions are solely focused on making the team better and more successful. This is important because once your 4 years are up, this team doesn't stop, and neither do your contributions to the success of this program. This motto also helped shape the many different roles that I've played throughout my career here at F&M. Over my 4 years, I played a number of different roles, beginning with being a role player freshman year, coming on as a substitute, and staying on that sideline motivating my brothers throughout the entire game, even if that meant me losing my voice by the end of it. Then I was able to break into the starting lineup my sophomore year, and it all culminated in me being named captain this past season. I think I first realized what this motto meant when I received a text from Jake before one of our games sophomore year. This text simply said, "Play for me and represent that number 7. The number 7 I've won all my life, and the number 7 that Jake wore prior to that." This meant a lot to me and made me realize that I wasn't just out on the field to play for myself and please myself. Instead, I'm out there playing for the guys next to me and all those guys that went before me. Finally, there was my role as captain on this team this past year, which brings me to my third mistake. After being named captain alongside Chase and Jerry last season, we had the tough task of following the footsteps of the 2 best captains this program has ever seen, in Chris Scott and Dave Rosenfeld. I made a mistake in making this position become somewhat of a burden on myself. felt like I had the obligation to be just as great of a captain as those two that went before me, and I felt as if we had to accomplish what that class had accomplished and then do even more. This to me meant leading the team to another Centennial Conference Championship and finally making the Final Four. This was a big mistake. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we didn't accomplish that this year. And you know what? I still could not be more proud of this team or the role that Jerry, Chase, and I played as leaders. I realize now that while as great as winning is, and as amazing that feeling of lifting the conference championship trophy and showering with it in Haverford's locker room is, the most important thing and the biggest thing I'll take away from this program is the relationships I've built with my brothers, teammates, and our amazing parents and fans. Finally, my latest mistake. This actually happened about 2 months ago when I played my final game for this program. Following that game, my fellow seniors and myself sat down and half-jokingly said, well, our careers are over. That statement could not be farther from the truth. In fact, our careers are just beginning, and that's what makes this program like no other in the country. Our roles now are to continue to support this program for years to come, whether that be serving as mentors, role models, friends, boosters, or most importantly, obnoxious fans yearning for this team to succeed. So my message to the team and all of you here today is simply don't be afraid to make a mistake. And when you do make that mistake, don't beat yourself up. Work even harder for your brothers next to you and make them better each and every day. Alright, so everyone always told me before I went to college that these would be the fastest and best 4 years of my life. And trust me, they were not wrong. But I like to think that my 4 years here at F&M, as a soccer player here at F&M, was better than those people could have ever imagined, as they never did or ever will experience what it means to be part of this brotherhood. And how amazing it feels to put that jersey on before a big game, or simply just get the whole team together to watch a big soccer game, football game, and just eat and drink with the best guys anyone could ask for. Now I want to take this time to talk about each of the 3 seniors that are speaking today. But first I want to speak to them all collectively and let them know what an honor it was to be part of this class. As it stands, you're looking at the winningest most class in F&M history, but that will last for about 7 more months once these guys take the field next season and help the junior class obliterate our record.